Reverend Michael, there's a whole lot of love in this room.
Yes, there is. I'm full. Thank you. A lot of love. Thank you.
So, of course, we will not go off the path of always asking the question, what's the lesson today? And really, maybe changing the question a little bit was, what is at the center of our spiritual living? So, of course, we're going to start with a little input from all of you, because there is wisdom in the crowd. What's the difference between a community and a group of people we just pull off the street? Give me some ideas about how that's different and what the characteristics are of a community.
Shared goals.
Shared goals.
People working together.
People working together. Relationship. Compassion. We need to. I guess we should have had two easels, huh?
When it's full, we're full.
That's right. Compassion.
Love. Caring.
Purpose.
Respect. Teamwork.
Respect and teamwork.
Like-minded. Value.
Like-minded.
How about love?
Love's there. Great. Did we miss one?
Value.
Value.
Values?
Values. Shared values. Wonderful. A common vision, perhaps? Shared vision.
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie. So when you say camaraderie, is it the word connection?
Yes.
So you have in your sacred covenant compassion, connection, and maybe for this community in particular, spiritual growth, right?
I would say from alone to all one. That's what.
Nice. Alone to all one.
And the L that's added is love.
Love it. All right. So, what does that mean for this community? Do we have all those things? All the time, right? And, you know, would you say based on shared goals, we talked about like-mindedness, a shared vision, that there is literally unity in community? In the word itself, yes? And that is one of the things that is at the center of spiritual living.
So, what is at our center of spiritual living? Compassion. This one I get to call. You'll have a chance later to Q&A. But now just in your minds. Compassion. You agree? Compassion is very important. So what is compassion? What is compassion? Being present with whatever's happening, whoever you're with, seeing the divine in that person. It's a recognition of anyone else's beingness. Beingness, the spiritual beingness of who they are. My favorite is seeing you. Compassion is seeing you. Not just looking at you. Not just seeing how you wear your hair, because I do that. But the call in compassion is seeing through that to who you truly are. It's also an intention of a connection to that namaste, that God in you is what I see as you. From that God in me is that oneness. In practicing compassion, what does that feel like? What does that feel? What does it look like? What it means first is putting oneself in another's shoes, which is what? A form of unity. Unity and community. One of my favorite reads of reflection is the Dalai Lama. This is a quote. Love and compassion are fundamental. What brings about happiness? Happiness is related to the way we think. If we do not train our minds and do not reflect on life, it is impossible to find happiness. Happiness is related to the way we think. What do we teach here? To think, to train our minds. Train your mind, live your life a more complete way. And what I know about compassion is that the qualities of it are fundamental to our lives. I live from a purpose statement. Do you know what a purpose statement is? It's the why we do anything in our lives. It's not the how. It's not the what. It's not the busyness of the mind or the blueprint that someone else has written for us. It is why we do anything. And that comes from where? Our true self. Our true self. So I'd like to share mine with you now to give you a sense of how I do life. I am here to serve humanity as a joy-filled voice of love and compassion. To embrace the spontaneous nature of spirit, thereby celebrating the abundant life. A lot of words, but it works for me. And so it's important that your purpose work for you, work through you, and be true for you. Now, some of the ways I do this in my life is with hospice. I volunteer my hair services free as a gift to those going through treatment. I do visitations to the hospital, sometimes at, well, oh, dark 30, I call it. Because, you know, those times are the times that, you know, I love to be there because it's a special time. And what I also know about compassion, it's the natural awareness of others in times of need. And I want to share a story this morning. True story. 2 weeks ago, one of my hair salon clients is being driven by a friend of hers. And this client has had a stroke. She doesn't make it into the salon. She has a seat at the curb, cannot get up. So I'm called in to assist her. And I just do it. I just do it. Because I know how to do that kind of stuff. And when I did it because I didn't need it for anything other than she needed my help. And what I'm going to share with you next was a real surprise to me. It was a note from her caregiver. Whew. Your calm and caring ways served the day for this client and me. Patient, gentle, accepting words to describe you don't even tell the entire story. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being the wonderful person you are. And you know, to get that that's not why I did it. And so true compassion is giving out of yourself because you must do it. And you give it freely without any type of need for any thank you note. I'm keeping this one, just in case I ever forget. So that's what I know is at our spiritual center. Compassion.
So what is at the center of our spiritual living? Living, spiritual living. Many of the times when we're not necessarily consciously aware, we're labeling all things. Eckhart Tolle's, anybody read the, not The Power of Now, but New Earth? And you know, a very rich thought is that we typically walk through life. We walk outside, yeah, blue sky, seen that before, yeah. Poppies, yeah, I've seen those flowers before, yeah, nice tree, yeah. Yeah, I'm breathing, there's plenty of air, yeah, I know all those things. Yeah, I know that. Or is it like a child? Wow, look at that beautiful blue sky. The sun shining down. Plenty of air. I breathe with ease. Just look at that poppy. I ran through Bidwell Park today and I snapped lots of pictures because the sun was just shining through those beautiful trees with the poppies and the wildflowers. And I was like, I'm being loved because I am. You can live through life with the busyness, or you can live your life from this spiritual perspective. And where is the change? Is it out there? It's within. And that's the difference also between judging and compassion. There is a higher intelligence, but do we squeeze it out by thinking we have all the answers? You know, it does require surrendering. That's what faith is. Surrendering to a higher power with your whole heart, mind, and soul. How does higher intelligence show up for you? For me, it's been creativity, and it has been popcorn. You'll get to see that later. Has anybody seen the latest movie, Miracles from Heaven? Highly recommend it. It's about a woman whose daughter is gravely ill and having a difficult time getting through the medical system in order to get her daughter help. She loses her faith. And yet she chooses to, even though they're in big debt based on all the medical bills, fly her and her daughter to Boston to show up at the doctor's office and still get turned away. But she had persistence and determination. And I'm not going to give away the whole story. You need to see the movie. But I'm going to tell you at the end, you will realize the snapshots of the higher intelligence, the miracles that were happening all along the way that she never realized were there until she regained her faith.
So what is at the center of our spiritual living? How about being with self? The spirit self, the capital S self that we teach in Science of Mind. Not the self that goes blah, 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 blah. No, I do that. Of course I do that. I'm human. But my primary who I am, the why of who I am, is I am. So how do we get to this place of being with self? First, we recognize that we want to be there and have that experience. And we do that through many different ways. Reverend Kathy mentioned running in the park, being with nature. We hear a lot about meditation. That's a meditation. It's not just the, although that works for people, works for me sometimes. Be quiet, pull back, go within. Find the way that works for recognizing the spiritual self of who we truly are. So what is this spiritual practice called meditation? A lot of people will ask that. So I simply say, find one. Find one. Mine consistently, and those of you that have heard me speak, I often mention this. Every day, no matter where I am, the moment I come to, I open a window, if it's a hotel. At home, I step out of my home, which represents stepping out of the world, into nature. I look out and I say, I am. I am. It's that moment of breathing in the truth of who I am symbolically and reminding myself that I am with all of life. That is very... Who in this room couldn't do that? You could, and if you can't physically move out, you can mentally picture yourself opening a door, moving through it, and simply say, I am. Can you say that with me now? I am. I am. It's a very deep ritual, very simple, and whatever you follow, I am with. Be careful. I prefer to say I am love first, and from there, everything else is easy. So, the expanded awareness and being with self, I have a story to share with you. I like a little bit of humor. Did you know that? Are you aware of that yet? So, a man is sitting in his doctor's office, and his concern is his wife is hard of hearing, and she pays no attention to him. She won't seek help. Doctor, he says, how may I best convince her? Okay, here's what you do. You walk in the door of your home, step in, and you ask the question, honey, what's for dinner? She doesn't respond. Walk a little closer. Honey, what's for dinner? He did this 5 times. Finally, he was right behind her, and he said, honey, what's for dinner? And her response was, for the 5th time, I've told you chicken. So, how does that tie in? Until we experience anything, until we have that experience, we are bound by our expectations. You see, it was not his problem. He expected her to take care of, but it was his. So until we have a sense of being with who we truly are, we are not in balance, and we don't actually get to see the truth of who we are. So I'll end with this. Expanded awareness comes through experience, which is our hands. The expanded mind comes through classes and understanding, through workshops, through book studies, through all of the things that this teaching provides. And the expanding of the heart by having people and community where it is safe to grow. And I believe we are the community, the science of mind, where it's always safe to grow.
So what is at the center of our spiritual living? The sacred covenant that the Chico New Thought Center has been speaks to holy union. Holy union in the community, but holy union begins here. And while we need discernment, typically we either judge ourselves or judge others. If you weren't here for John Boyle's contemplation, it was great. And he talked about, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not old enough, I'm not young enough, I'm not skilled enough, I'm not creative enough. The minute we judge, we've gone into separation. The judger and the judged. And neither one really feels very good. Now I'm going to use John's little metaphor today. So what we need to do, since the judger and the judge are binding us to our physical aspects of what we see, snip, snip. I am. Don't need the judgment. Just come back to the center of I am and declare, I am love, I am power. He did that to me. Victim, snip, 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 snip. I am. Oh, you can't really think that just standing there in the I am is really going to get anything for you, is it? I mean, come on, we need to do things, get moving. Many of us are not comfortable just being. And if we could just release all that is on our shoulders and hinders us, the past, there is a divine place in you that is so perfect, so full of love. Nothing in your human experience has touched or harmed the core of that being. It is that deep within you. Which means bringing yourself back into that space and connecting, forgetting everything that's happened in the past. Not holding on to it, not letting it be the precedent as you move forward. But instead, snip, 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 until I am right here, right now. In love, in joy, in whatever you wish to proclaim, in truth with a capital T. Speaking your truth. Do you know what that is? If you know your purpose, it will always be the place where you know you're headed, or it comes from within you. And this is not done from the outside in. What surrounds you, that worries you, that has hurt you, that you've held on to. What's the theme for Chico New Thought for 2016? That doesn't happen from the outside in. That happens when, from the inside out, whether it's your mind and your heart and your hands, which is your action, you have gotten to a point of a new awareness, a new understanding, a new look at the truth of who you are. That's where transformation begins. And then as we change our perspective, and this is what treatment is meant to do, is to elevate our thinking and our heart into a space of knowing that truth, going back to what's called first cause. Love, capital L, the first cause of all things happening in this world, whether you believe it or not, for you. And I know that that's difficult to see sometimes. At least I've experienced times where, how is this love for me? But I have to tell you, if I can let go, there are sometimes puzzle pieces that come back around and go, aha. So through oneness, through your holy union with your God self, that's where transformation begins.
So, says the Phantom, so, what is at the center of our spiritual living? This moment. This divine moment. This moment in wisdom.
This moment in compassion.
This moment in integrity.
This moment in spiritual unity.
This moment in joyful community.
This moment in gratitude.
This moment.
This moment. This moment.
And so it is.
Go back the same way we came.